Hello, everyone, and happy holidays. This is Locking It In with Deb and Pear for December 28th, and it's our last broadcast for 2021. We're going to keep it simple. Rates are expected to go up in the coming year as high as 3.7%, perhaps by some estimates, which is still, by the way, a lot lower than they were a few years ago before this pandemic started. So it's still a good time to buy a home. Price increase is going to slow considerably. We're going to start to move into a more, I think, balanced market in 2022. In the meantime, if you are thinking about listing, it's a great time because there is a huge demand for inventory and buyers. It is the time for you to start looking now. Don't wait till spring. There's a lot of competition out there. And if you are interested, maybe you think you can't afford a home, it might be more affordable than you think. What you want to do if you're thinking about buying a home, in particular, if you are currently a renter, if you're a seller, you'll still need to do some of these things, but you'll have the equity going for you. In the first place, don't wait to start looking. Get out there and start looking. Even if you're not sure if you can afford it, until you get out there and start looking and start acting, nothing's going to happen at all. And one of the first things you're going to want to do, you can go to some open houses. The very first thing you're going to want to talk to a loan officer, such as Perrin. Perrin, what do you do as a loan officer when someone's interested in buying a home?
So I take down their information, so I can pull credit on them, as well as their employment information, their income information, so that I can pre-qualify and get them pre-approved through desktop underwriting as soon as possible.
Okay. And what do you want to tell them about the pre-approval process? What actually is happening? What numbers do you look at? What numbers are needed?
Well, I look at their debt ratio and I look at their credit score and I look at their credit to make sure that they qualify for the guidelines of one of my lenders.
What do you return to them?
I just return them a pre-approval letter for the amount that they qualify for.
Will it give them an idea what their monthly payment will be as well?
I tell them that,
okay.
Yes.
Okay. And you will also give them an estimate to prepare for closing.
An estimated loan estimate, but that is not as accurate as the rest of the information, because it depends on if they buy up to the limit of what they qualify for, or if they buy less. If they buy less, then the closing costs will be more affordable.
How do people interested in getting a mortgage know how much money they need?
Well, I tell them that too.
Okay. In general, what would you say? What are the general?
It depends on the program. There's 0 down, there's 3.5% down, there's 5% down. There's all kinds of different programs depending on the situation.
Okay. What I would say as a real estate agent, I would recommend that you have at least 3% down saved if you can. And you're going to want to have a couple grand set aside for earnest money, which can apply to your down payment as well. That can be part of the 3%. And you'll want to have about $400 or $500 to get a home inspection when you have an offer accepted. And you will also need money to give Perrin, the lender, for the appraisal.
Yeah, and that's usually about $800 plus or minus.
Yeah. You can get into a house with 0 down. You can talk to Perrin about the down payment assistance programs that are available and see which ones you qualify for. And I would recommend cut your expenses and save as much as you can. In the first place, when you move, you're going to have some expenses. In the second place, the more money you can save, the more money you might be able to contribute to a down payment and buy a bigger house.
The more options you have.
Yes, many more options.
Many more options, the more money you have.
And if you have debts you can pay down, do it. Not at the expense of saving money. You want to save money and also, pay down any debts that you can. Try and lower your debt ratio. And also don't get new debts. Don't buy a
unless
truck.
You don't have credit.
Right. Well, if you talk to Perrin and he says your credit score is too low because you don't have enough credit, then you might want to get a credit card and pay your bills with it every month. One thing you might not want to do is buy a car or lease a car. Anything like that will count against you big time. Even if you're pre-approved, you won't be after that. Do you think that's good advice, Perrin?
It depends on the situation. If you make a lot of money, if you make a lot more than what you need, then you can buy a car. If the ratios are tight, if you need to establish credit, probably just want to get a minimal credit, secured credit card or a small credit card or something like that, which will not really affect your debt ratio.
And what about employment
2 years on the job minimum
or in the same industry?
or in the same industry. Yes.
So you can be a nurse and go do a healthcare job in another.
Right.
Place.
You can do that. Yeah. They won't discriminate.
Not a good time for a career change if you're planning to buy a home. And I also want to say rent's going to continue to go up. Your mortgage won't. You have total control over what you want your mortgage to be. It's worth thinking about and researching right now because it might be more affordable than rent. You just don't know until you talk to Perrin. So give Perrin a call and see how your rent compares to what a potential mortgage could be. And if the market has something to offer you.
Values are way up. I just got an appraisal back on a single wide on land today at 290. Single wide, 290.
I always forget those exist for some reason. I can't really sell them because they're difficult to finance. But apparently you're doing one.
I'm doing a bunch.
And that's good because you can't get financing, I don't think, for tiny houses, can you?
Depends. You can always get financing one way or another.
Well, it would be a personal, probably personal property.
Depends on how big the house is.
Is there a minimum house size for
Like
lending?
400, 500 square feet. 600 is the minimum probably for a manufactured home normally.
And you have a lending minimum amount, right? The minimum amount you'll lend?
Yes.
Yeah, so if it's below that, you'd have to get an RV loan or something. I just want to wish everyone a happy new year. And if you live in any of these towns in the United States, it's going to be extra happy. You could live in Christmas Cove, Maine, Christmas, Michigan, Christmas Valley, Oregon, Eggnog, Utah, Mistletoe, Kentucky, Santa Claus, Arizona, Santa Claus, Georgia, and Santa Claus, Indiana. There's also a Santa, Idaho, North Pole, Alaska, North Pole, New York, Noel, Missouri, Joy, Illinois, Bethlehem, North Carolina. All kinds of fun Christmas-named cities out there. A special holiday wish for all of you. For everyone, this has been Locking It In with Deb and Pear for Tuesday, December 28th, 2021. And our last episode of the year. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.